Old school version of I Cook with Ice that I'm going to play right now. It's real sloppy.
My beard is frozen, that's how I know. Out on the ice, it's time to go. I'm catching walleye, I'm catching perch. I drop a jig down and make it twerk. Your water's soft, how does it feel? When I tell you mine is hard as steel. The stove is good if you're cooking rice, but it's winter time and I cook with ice. Drill a hole, you'll pay the price. It's winter time and I cook with ice.
So, welcome to the show, everybody. First lure I'm going to throw down for the show here is the Sebile Vibrato. This is the smallest one I got. We'll see how it works out. Let me check my mic here. Make sure this isn't too loud and isn't too quiet. Should be perfect. So I've been out here since about 1:30, 2 o'clock. I took the flip hut out. And so far it's been really, really slow out here. It's really cold, so I was really reluctant to change spots. But I did anyway. I was just like, well, whatever. But then my drill battery was all frozen, and that's not cool. Or maybe it's too cool. Anyway, it was hard to drill the second set of holes because the battery was definitely having issues. So I moved over to a spot I have marked on my Navionics is perch good. And so far I caught one perch here on a dead stick, but not a heck of a lot of action. Something crazy that's been happening to me over the last couple days here is that yesterday I went out with my underwater camera as well as today, I don't have it running right now because it doesn't work really well when the light starts going down, especially on these murky waters. Anyway, when I dropped down the camera yesterday and today, there were all kinds of herring all around, just, doing their thing. They looked like they were eating something, but they wouldn't bite anything I was throwing down. But just like herring all over the place. What are they up to? What are they doing? I'm not sure. Let's see. How's it going there, Darren? Welcome to the party. Looks like you're the first guy to comment here. I'm going to turn the camera around to the holes because, I'll try to switch it back and forth to keep it dynamic and whatnot, but let's see some fish. Were you out today, Richard, fishing? Yeah, it seems to be a bit of a cold front out here, so I'm a little bit concerned about whether I'm actually going to see some fish. I'm hoping that the evening bite is what's going to bring it all together here. When you're going to Simcoe, Richard, are you going for perch? Or are you going for whiteys, lake trout when you go next? The slush is definitely stiffened up a touch, but it's still out there. I'm kind of blown away because it's been so cold. I figured that the slush would be pretty frozen by now, but the snow seems to be holding it on there. It wasn't nearly it was bad yesterday, but when I came out today, it wasn't too bad. Or at least the slush had a crust on top. Even the spot I'm in right now was a total slush hole not so long ago. And now it's back to being solid again. Going for whiteys, eh, Richard? Making sandwiches. I always forget to bring snacks out here. That sounds pretty tasty. What kind of sandwiches are you going to be pulling together there, David? So what's your favorite bait for whiteys, Richard? I know a lot of people like the spreaders on the bottom. You know, I actually have a buddy who's got a cottage on Lake Rosso, and we try to go there once a year for ice fishing. And we've caught some half decent lakers there, that's for sure. I think I might be seeing a fish. Maybe not. Could be just my minnow showing up on my radar here. I've got the dead stick on the left with a minnow, and then a drop shot on it, or a dropper with a plastic bait. And on the right I've got the vibrato going, Fire Tiger. Yeah, on Rosso we had some luck, of course, with the white tubes and some rattling baits. How's it going, Dax? Welcome to the party. Have you gotten out fishing lately? What's going on, Dave? Welcome to the party. So I'm working the rod on the right here pretty hard because it's been so slow and I haven't seen many fish even come in to look. So I'm sort of trying to do an attractor thing here. Two perch and one pickerel, eh? Yeah, yesterday I caught two perch, but it was slow. I had a lot of them come in and look at my bait and take off. It was really, really frustrating. And they always come in to look at your bait when you're right about to walk out the door to take a piss, right? Because they're like, oh, let's see if we can make this guy piss his pants. And then they just keep snooping up on your bait, and you're like, all right, here we go. And next thing you know, they're gone. Ryan, I haven't talked to any of the outfitters yet about anything. I know that I saw that Fish Bay Marina posted on Facebook there that they were planning on shutting down for the whole rest of the season, because as of right now, they would have had ice roads going and they would have had things set up, but because the lockdown has lasted so long, I think they're saying that it would be way too much work to try to pull it off for the last tail end of the season. I can imagine those huts are huge, and once you have a solid covering on the ice, it definitely takes a lot of work. Just me getting out here in my flip-up hut. Boy, I almost had to change my underwear. It was pretty sweaty, let me tell you. Tuna salad. Excellent choice. Mac, the bite has been not too bad. The beginning of the season was a little better. Right now I'm sort of in a slow moment, but I noticed that the jumbo perch have been coming in more, because I caught a few nice ones the other day, but they're not coming in hordes, but I'm picking a few off. And this is, mind you, I'm only able to spend like an hour or two at a time. A lot of times I find with the perch, if you sit there all day long, you'll get a school eventually. Yeah, I'm hoping that all the fish were just resting up for the evening bite here, because it's been pretty slow. Welcome to the party, JM, species 8472. Is that from the NIPISSING fishing forum there? NIPISSING Outdoors. Yeah, you know, as the sun starts setting at later times, I'm sure, or I hope, more people will be able to catch this live, because You know, already the sun is going to be setting at what, 5:40 almost. I think the biggest laker I ever caught was maybe just under 10 pounds. Thanks for showing up there, Canadian Vapor. Yeah, the Striker 4 is serving me well here. I'm liking it. And it's got a heck of a battery life too. It's crazy. I've been watching all these videos with these guys with the pen optics or whatever it's called. And I'm just like, wow, that's quite the rig. It almost reminds me of, like, you know, the movie Predator and the way Predator saw everything. It's almost like how you see all around the bottom. David, these rods, I got hooked up by Masuda Fishing, Canadian company. They designed these rods and tested them. I believe they are still built in China, but they are very well designed and they look beautiful, don't they? I've had them for a while. I used to be using Fenwick rods, but now I've got these guys, and I must say that I'm pretty impressed so far. I haven't caught any monsters with them yet, but I've definitely given them some hard bending and testing out. So I can definitely say that they're solidly built. So these ones are, just trying to think here. Sorry, the rod length I'm gonna say is, I'm gonna go with 26, 26 inches. And the action I have on both these rods is a medium heavy. I'm kind of partial to medium heavy rods. I like them when they're really, really solid. But I did rig up a medium light rod to give it a bit of a zip. But I don't know if I'll be using that today. But I actually ordered a new reel that's a little more suited to it. So I'll have to give the different sizes a run. Sorry, Craig. It's been an enduring couple of moments. Yeah, imagine, Canadian Vapor, that those huts they're hauling out there, like, they're way bigger than the huts that people have around here. And I know once you get snow and slush going on, oh man, it's just a headache to get everything out. The 10-pounder was through the ice, Richard. Yeah, how much are those pen optics going for? I'm gonna guess $1,500. Yeah, I don't have that kind of coin. There was one fish, a very small perch, that came through maybe 10 minutes before we went live here, and that's been the only fish all day. So that kind of sucks. And I'm in a spot that my Navionics app says, it says good perch, but I probably said that a couple years ago. Again, it's like, you know, the day. $4,000? That's madness. Wow. Wow. That's crazy. That's a lot of cash. Maybe if I won the lottery, I'd give it a shot. But I don't think. Oh, is there a fish here? Come on. How much does the FL20 Vexilar cost you there, Kyle? Yeah, that's crazy. That's a lot of cash. Wish it was that easy, David. These perch aren't agreeing with the game today. Yeah, I guess what happened was the bottom of my flip hut here, if you get any kind of ice on it, any kind of snow or anything like that sticks to it, and it's just like hauling heavy gear, like hauling sandpaper across marbles, I guess. Yeah, you know what, Jamie? That video I made for the Striker 4 is probably one of the videos that's got the most amount of hits that I've ever made. So I'm starting to wonder, maybe I should be contacting Garmin and being like, hey, I think I've probably sold a few of your units for you. Maybe you can retro pay me for that. 200 bucks for the Fish Buddy, eh? Is that like a standard fish finder style unit? Yeah, I don't think you're wrong with Nick Day looking for the fish for you. I'm sure those guys have everything scouted out. Everything's probably looking, tested and fished. Oh yeah. Yeah, I've seen some pretty nice fish that Nick has caught on Facebook there. And I believe he's on Instagram as well. I've seen some pretty sweet muskies and whatnot, but those are all in the summertime. But sorry, I thought I saw something coming in on the radar here. I think I'm going to change my lure up here. Yeah, I was pulling crazy rigs earlier today, or right before you guys came on here. It was desperate. So I was pulling out rigs. I couldn't even show you these rigs. They were so extreme. But still, nothing was coming in. Let's see what we're gonna throw next. I'm always partial to the rattle baits. Gotta go into the second box here. Sorry for the delay here. Oops. I might have to just go pure minnow on a jig head soon. Not yet though. Let's see what we can throw first. I'm gonna throw out my noisy rattler. Try to call them in. So that's, whoa, yeah. There we go. Here's your perch, David. Not a bad size one. So I've got it, the way I've got it set up is a dead stick with, well, I'm just gonna get this guy off the hook. Oh. So it's probably about 9 inches, not huge. Tried pulling my rod down the hole. So let me show you this rig I got going here, my dead stick rig. Now I've got a rattler on the bottom, a small rattler. It's a little light, but I put the minnow on the front hook of that and it shakes it. and it rattles while it's down there. So it's sort of like the minnow is making it rattle, but in a very subtle way. And then up top, I got a little plastic. Sometimes they go for the plastic and sometimes they don't, but it's worth having up there for a little bit more action. So I'm just gonna fire on another minnow here. All right, so there's my minnow on there. He's gonna shake it around, rattle it up. Problem is, I was having some problems with it going down the hole earlier because that upper hook can sometimes catch on stuff as it's going down. Looks like it's going down good though. Just got this light on for a second here so I can see it going. What's going on, Struckus? You been out fishing lately? Dax, were you writing bite? Because I'm not sure about a bife. I do have a couple of slab grabbers. Funny thing is my gold ones are so tarnished, but I wonder if that will affect things in a negative way or if it'll just be fine. I have them with glow beads on them. All right, back to throwing down this rattler. So you can see my rod, if you look real close at it, that minnow is really making it dance. Yeah, it's nice when you catch a fish. When you catch a fish on the screen. Classic J. No, I don't think anybody's told me I look like Dave from Gold Rush. Somebody said I look like somebody from a movie. Some movie about being up in the cold spot. I'm not sure. Let's see if we can catch some more, right? Here's a question for you guys. Have you guys ever caught 2 fish on one lure at once? Whoa. Uh-oh. There we go. I thought for a second there that we were going to be zoomed in a permanent way. New phone, you know? So I've seen 2 fish hit at once a couple of times. The first time was I was fishing with my dad on a lake near Algonquin Park, and he had 2 smallmouth bass hit at once. The second time, I believe I was fishing with my brother and dad in Lake Onaping, north of Sudbury there, and it was 2 walleye. And then one year here, I had 2 separate instances of it happening, specifically with the Sebile vibrato lures. I was putting a chunk of salty minnow on each end, and you know, sometimes the fish are so hungry they race each other to your bait. Yeah. Oh yeah, 2 Lakers, eh? So interesting thing, I posted a video on TikTok, which, you know, I've just been on that app for a little bit now. I posted a video of TikTok of me catching 2 fish at once. And some spuds on there decided to, they were suggesting that I had put both the fish on the hooks, thrown it back in the hole, and then reeled it back in. I'm like, wow, I didn't think this was so unbelievable that it would inspire, TikTok conspiracy theories. Because it's happened a few times, and I know it happens, Okay. Sorry, Classic J, for the misunderstanding there. I'll have to look up that movie and then look up Dave. This ice is pretty solid at 14 inches. It's building. How's it going, Dave Johnson? Welcome to the party. So far, one fish. Hey, Isaac. Welcome to the party. So people are making sandwiches. I heard that Jeff Emo, aka Big Filthy, was going to show up with some sort of crazy Caesar that has a million different hors d'oeuvres in it. I don't know if I've seen him show up though. I'd say a pickerel rig counts. Two fish in the same line. Or maybe it's in its own category, Two fish on the same rig and then two fish on the same lure. But it's in the same area of sweetness. I will not be out on Monday with the family, unfortunately. Well, we'll see. We'll see what time I wake up, but I'll be on the nights again. So I get to work all the holidays. But that means I get all kinds of bank time that I get to use at other times of the year. I went by calendar not so long ago, dropping off the prize for the winner of the ice thickness contest. I took some pictures. Took some pictures of all the trucks and stuff on the lake. I guess I was in my last ice report there. That's awesome, Jamie. I've had a few times when lines get tangled up, and then I've seen fish come up the other guy's hole, but with your lure in his mouth, Snapped you both off. Oh no. How big of a fish do you think it was? Oh. So Big Filthy, eh, Richard? Where is that guy? And is he able to get up at all this year? 20 pounds. Hey, there he is. So it's too bad you can't post pictures here, Jeff. I was hoping to see some of these Caesars, but I hear that you've already posted some pictures of them on the NIPISSING board, or correction, I've seen them there. So you're up to date there, Jeff. It's been a little slow. There was one perch. That's it. And there was one perch earlier today, and that's all. So, as I recall, there's pickles on them and olives, bacon. I'm sure you get some cheese in there too, right? Oh, geez. It's really sucking that for a lot of people, the season's been essentially canceled. It Next year is going to be awesome, I hope. It's like I feel like calling all my friends up and being like, all right, you guys can all come up now and let's get some serious fish going on. Because I usually have a couple of friends that come up every year and they're stuck in Toronto. Yeah, Jamie, I used to fish for salmon out on the Humber River there. And I went out in a canoe with my wife in the Humber Bay. Just sort of one of the first days we had that canoe. And I caught a salmon on this crazy laser lure. And I was fighting it for like half an hour. And by the time I got it close to the canoe, I had like this little wee bass net. And the bass net would have fit over his head. And that's it, like a hat, So then I also didn't have outriggers on my canoe at the time. So I'm like, okay, let's try to pull him in shallow. And then maybe I'll put the net on his head and try to grab his tail. But then all of a sudden he thrashed off as soon as I put the net on his head, he got the hooks caught in the net, thrashed out of the net and took off. And I'm like, well, I would have liked to have landed that fish, but that sort of saves me a bit of heartache. Oh, you got 3 of them, Dave. 3 dinks at once, huh? There you go. That's a whole new category. Triple hook rigs. That's I didn't see the public health presentation today. Yeah. I've had it a couple times with pike too, when you catch them and you're just like, my wife had a decent pike and it was the one day I forgot my friggin' net. And I'm like, great. So I'm like reaching for his face to try to grab him by the gill plate, and then he thrashed off the hook and I was like, well, there we go. Problem solved. Yeah, Jamie, that's pretty much exactly what the salmon did. Just yanked him out of his mouth. It sucks. Yeah. And then after that, I tried so hard. After I'd cut that salmon, I tried so hard to get out there again and get into some similar opportunities, but I never had a day where they were hitting hitting as hard as they were that day. I miss those salmon. All right, time to switch. All right, I'm gonna try the gold slab grabber. Like I said, heavily tarnished, but with a glow bead. See how that pans out. Might be getting to the point where I just start putting minnows on everything. Yeah, I only caught that one NIPISSING whitefish, and it was in deep water. But I've heard people say they used to catch them. I don't know what kind of numbers we have on this lake, but there's definitely people I've talked to who said they caught a few. Yeah, that they caught a few of them. And there used to be guys who exclusively fished for them. There's definitely lots of herring out here, I can tell you that much, but I've only caught the one whitefish. It's interesting the number of people who want to get into debates about what's a whitefish and what's a herring. But it's pretty clear. Yeah, I definitely, since I've cut, like in carp fishing, you got to have some big ass nets, big ones, because they can get huge. So I have a big musky net, really, that I use for that. And yeah, it's best to keep it around. You never know when you're going to get a giant on there. Nice. Thanks, Kirk. Kirk on Kim's account. Oh, lo and behold, you guys might not know this, but Four Wheel Fishing, that's my brother. And he started up his own channel this year featuring, I guess, he's driving a fancy truck there, and he's going into some backwoods spots trying to get some fishing going on. So that's the Four Wheel Fishing. Yeah, you should definitely post that one, Carl. So when you landed it by hand, Four Wheel Fishing, did you get him by the gill plate, or did you try to grab his tail? And what kind of lure was it on? Yeah, that's what I always go for. The mouth always seems pretty I think I got some action here. Come on. Go for it. Huh. Yesterday, like I said, I had a lot of fish show up and then disappear. Oh, I'll see if he shows up again. You're marking 4 right now, David? Where are you fishing right now? I lived in Toronto for about 12 years. I'm from a small town north of Toronto called Shelburne. That's where I grew up, at least. And then I moved to Toronto when I was going to university, and then I sort of stayed there for a long time. That's when I was fishing. Like I used to fish a lot as a kid, and then there was probably about age 16 when you start not thinking about fishing anymore and you're thinking about ladies. And then you give up fishing for 10 years and then you pick it up again. I was right in downtown Toronto when I picked up fishing again. And that's when I started fishing for the different fish around Toronto. So I did live there for a long time and I got a lot of friends there. Cheese cubes. I'm just reading off Jeff's recipe here. Cheese cubes, salami, hot homemade pickles, pepper salami, pickled red peppers, mean bean, and more cheese cubes. Wow. So, what's the mean bean? Is that those giant beans you can get? Yeah, I did see a video of the rod father there catching lake trout recently, and there's definitely none here, so he might have been somewhere else. Yeah, four-wheel fishing. That's my brother doing the four-wheeling and fishing at the same time, getting to those back lakes, you know? I made a whole video of my brother and I doing a four-wheel fishing trip. I think it's even finished. I just never posted it because it sort of got to ice fishing season by the time I was done it. You figured my minnow came off there, Kirk? Let me take a look. I think that might have been the last minnow I tossed in the hole from the fish I caught. Or maybe that fish had spit it out. Yeah, still got a minnow. Of course, my holes are freezing up a bit. It's cold outside, let me tell you. It's almost too warm in here, though. Oh, we got a fish under this one. He's gonna go for it. Bite it. I don't know if you guys can see my fish finder too clearly. There's definitely a fish down there. Oh, there we go. Ah, no! Sorry, guys. I failed. Yeah, that perch grabbed my lure, and now I'm sure he's smart to it. Felt like a perch or a small walleye. Make sure there's enough line down here. Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to take a little quick trip outside, and I'm going to grab my bucket and put the... Whoa. Maybe I'll just... Whoop. Something's happening here. I'm just going to move this a little closer so you guys get a little more of a view of it. Nope. What's going on down here? Nope. Probably stole my minnow. Seems like the fish are finally showing up. I have none. 55. Welcome to the party. Nick Bruce. The bite has been a little slow, but I think it's about to pick up. So worm harness isn't too bad for having too many hooks flying around. Fiddlefest indeed. You know about Fiddlefest, eh? We used to go to the Fiddlefest parade in Shelburne and catch all the candies as children. It was great. So you're on NIPISSING. What part of the lake are you at there, Dave? Okay, so we're getting down to the I've seen some great pike caught along the Toronto shoreline. Ha. When I was a younger man, we used to go to Super Burger at lunchtime, when we finally had licenses to drive vehicles, and we always went to Super Burger. And I'd get the meal deal for $5. Of course, $5 probably doesn't get you anything now. When I was a little guy, that was worth a whole meal deal. Anyway, I used to prefer Super Burger, but now I'm just not so sure anymore. It's like they've definitely changed a lot of things to do with it, and I don't know. It's just not the same. I loved it back in the day, though. All right, I'm gonna fire down the UV jigging wrap. I'm gonna put a minnow on the bottom of that guy. I'm sure Carl's pretty happy about that. Just gonna put, okay. Yeah. That's brutal, Jeff. All your trips are canceled, eh? It's that's all I can say. I'm sure you guys are just dying not being able to go ice fishing. Like I said, I was saying in other live broadcasts, I missed out on my carp season this year or last year, and it looks like I'm going to be missing out on my carp season this year. And I'm quite. There's definitely somebody down there. May have just heisted my minnow. Come on. Okay, he's coming up off the bottom. Doesn't look very big. He's tapping it. This is what was happening yesterday. Just these little wee taps. Trying to give you guys a bit of a better view. Come on. Well, there he is. Come on. Did you say you had an awesome day there, David? Did you catch lots of fish? Because it's been real slow for me. Been to Shelburne, eh? Yeah. Good old Alliston. Used to go to school with a lot of people who came from out that way. Mean beans, eh? Big green beans. There's a lot of really sweet back lakes, especially stocked ones around this area, that if you don't have a snowmobile, you're kind of boned. But there's some really nifty places all around. Yeah, Shelburne near Hornings Mills. I had a buddy who lived in Hornings Mills there. Yeah, definitely. moving up to North Bay is a great place for getting your fish on. There's definitely lots more people to meet and greet in Toronto, that's for sure. Just gonna check my minnow here. I feel like he's that fish. Oh, still got it. All right, just gonna check my dead stick rig. Hold on. There's definitely a fish who came up to look at my active stick. Aha! Stole my minnow. Classic. All right, put a new minnow on here. Sorry about that. Juicy one. Oh. All right, down goes. Clear some ice out of my hole here. Whoops. All right, down she goes. All right. So I don't know if anybody else has been catching or seeing a lot of herrings. I'm kind of curious if it's just this year or there's been serious influx in herring activity. Come on. Sorry, this isn't supposed to be sitting like that. Whatever. Today I'm using got the Fluger. It's the Fluger. I'm just trying to the President. Fluger President. I like it a lot. It's a good reel. Gets the job done. Looks like we're seeing some fish down here. Come on. Sorry, I bumped it. Bite it. don't know how well you guys can see my fish finder. I had better set up in the big hut. Your trip's been canceled too, Shane? Which operator were you guys with? At good old Collingwood, eh? Sunset, eh? Oh, here we got a fish looking. Do it. Seems like there's fish coming in. They're just not going for it. Let me try to fuck around with this line again. Yeah, these rods are really well designed, and as I recall, or for what I've seen, the guy who runs the company has been getting them out there quite a bit now to different stores, so they are available. They're getting around. Like I said, they're really well designed. I like the ones I've got. What part of the USA are you from there, Lawrence? I used to love the fries with gravy. Jamie at Super Burger. There are some people who really swear by the Champ Burger. I don't know if I've quite gone there yet. Come on, fish, let's go. Sorry, I'm really trying to shake this fish in. All right, guys, so I got this fish. And it keeps looking at my lure. What should I do? Should I downsize to a lighter thing with a minnow on it? Nothing but minnow? What do you guys think? Yeah, the jigging wrap is a classic. I don't know if I have any stingers. A half minnow. Do you put the butt end on or the face end? Yeah, I've been using that traditional view since I think it was Craig and Struckus recommended it. Definitely gives you, it's that screen on the side that really separates it. That's a good story there, Jamie. Sounds pretty funny when you go. Like I've done a few backwoods moments where I ended up being stuck. Somebody had to save my ass. But it wasn't with the proper gear. Now I got a Tacoma pickup truck with big mud tires and a winch. My brother's a lot more into the off-road stuff than myself, just because I've got, off-road related trauma. where it cost me $500 to get out of the woods. Okay, so I'm gonna change my lure up to something real simple. I'm gonna go with black jig head and a minnow. And I know my hour is up here and I should probably get going inside, but there was a fish down there, okay? I can't just walk away from that. Come on. Classic. Sorry, give me a second. Got a minnow on there. See how this flies. Come on, fish. That's nice of you, Nathan. Striker 4. It's always sweet when people teach you hot tips and you learn things. It's pretty amazing. Especially the old guys. They're worth their weight in gold. Where on the lake is good perch fishing? Are you talking about NIPISSING, Dave? I think there's a lot of good perch fishing along the North Shore here, and there's also some good perch fishing, well, all along the North Shore. I think we have sort of like mud bottom here, and that seems to work well with perch. And the wallies seem to dig the structure that you get a lot more on the South Shore. I think I got something down there. What if it's a salamander? So what? I'm trying to remember what the weather was like last year. Was it a mild winter? Do you think that's what caused the herrings to erupt? You know, Jamie, I've tried dipping my fish fillets in sriracha sauce actually, and that was really good. That actually worked really good to stick things to it. Did you guys get much ice in mid-Michigan? Ah, you son. That guy probably fried my minnow right off the hook too. Yeah, I think that's a good tip. Downsize. Trying to keep it super simple at the moment. You know, I bought some of those tungsten jig heads, and I don't know where the heck I put them. I need to get them though, get them out. I was watching a video today where a guy was using those. And I was thinking to myself, like, I've got those damn things. Coconut crab. Huh. I'm gonna have to look into these coconut crabs. Yeah, I don't think there's a lot of people out there doing live streams of fishing. Not nearly as many people as are just releasing videos. Ah, yes. I've got these little bug-looking plastics that I sometimes have luck with the perch. I've got some black ones that look just like some kind of scummy bug. Sorry, John, I did see your message there. I just forgot to do it. My line is getting frozen in here in a pretty serious way. Jeez. I think I may. Ooh. Sorry, I also have a fish who's falling down. Where'd he go? Despite the fact that I have a heater running in here, I am experiencing an extreme amount of freezing in my holes. Yeah, I know a lot of YouTubers use the what is it called? Patreon. I use the Patreon. I don't have a Patreon account. However, if you were to go to my Bandcamp site, the forrealfishing.bandcamp.com, there's you can, if you buy I Cook with Ice, you have the opportunity to give me like a tip, which would be a good way to hook me up if you want to send me some bones. Plus you get I Cook with Ice. So it's kind of a sweet deal like that. I think that's probably the simplest system I've got set up if anybody wants to shake me some change. I always find it like, I know a lot of people have the Patreon, and I'm often like thinking to myself, like, you know, people pay people, but then they don't get anything in return. And that's sort of, well, I guess they get the video in return. But I kind of like the idea of, you buy a t-shirt, you get a t-shirt. You buy the I Cook with Ice track, and you get that. And, you get something. But yeah, I wonder how the Patreon stuff works. I haven't really looked into it too much. How did you catch those minnows, Craig? Yeah, I'm really digging the Striker 4. I had like a battery issue in the beginning, but it seems to be solved now. They sent me a new battery, and buying a new battery wasn't actually that cheap, or pardon me, it wasn't that expensive actually. It was only like $40. My brother and I actually, JM, tried around the Manitous last year, and that's where I caught my whitefish, and like we caught a bunch of ling. I've trolled out there once or twice. There's definitely some fishing to be done out there. It's a bit of a hike to get out there, but if you have a snowmobile, it's not too bad. It looks like I'm running out of gas in my heater. It has to be an extreme amount of wind to stop me from going ice fishing. If it's one of my days off, like I've gone out in very extreme wind. I think I have a video called like Snowstorm Pack Up or something like that, where my whole flip up hut was just like exploding. It was just wobbling like crazy. Yeah, I think actually, Jamie, that I have seen that where people, a lot of times with Patreon, they get a nod or some sort of, they get videos before other people. So I'm gonna have to roll, guys. It's that time of day. Hour and 12 I went. Oh, and my light went out. What great timing. So I'm sure you guys can't see me at all, but have yourselves a great night, and we'll see you next week. Have a great night.